What's up, everyone? I just was going through all my videos and I noticed a few of my videos were actually deleted, and one of the videos that wasn't deleted but I noticed had no traction and wasn't getting promoted was the Sean O'Malley one. So let's present this to you in a proper way. My apologies for the re-upload, but the people who didn't see it, which is everyone because there was only one view on it, will get the opportunity now. Much love to everyone who watches this, and much appreciation to anyone who subscribes to the channel. Let's go.
Sean O'Malley has had a very interesting rise, but how has he got here? How has he actually got to being a champion, and how has he been able to prove everyone wrong? Before we get to how he got to this point, where did he start? Sean O'Malley was born in Helena, Montana, with a very close family. His father was actually a detective and his mother was a nurse. Some could say he even had a sheltered upbringing. Sean tells a story that early on he came downstairs to see his dad and brothers sneakily watching the UFC, and he actually went and told on them to his mom. I can imagine this would create some type of tension between his dad and his brothers, so maybe the reason that he started training and fighting was to prove them wrong. Sean did grow up an athlete, and he does say that he had a lot of fun playing all these different sports such as basketball, baseball, football, and even soccer. But Sean was never someone who was into school, and he definitely was holding himself back in that way. This would lead to him not being able to play sports in school, so he would drop out early, and this was definitely something that would cause a lot of people to raise a lot of doubt. Sean did start training when he was 15 though, and he was training kickboxing at first, and he was seeing a very fast rise. He was seeing that he was much better than a lot of these other people, and it was clear that he was going to have an advantage over most people, at least around where he was growing up. His first boxing coach even was amazed by the speed and the power. From right away, he was someone who visibly was different and clearly had advantages over people, even though he looks the way he does. A lot of people would very much doubt him due to the way he looks, but he's able to use his height and his length in a very, very great way. This is rare, to see the speed and to actually see the snap of the punches. This was very, very rare to see early, so they were trying to advance his level fast. Of course, they weren't trying to rush him too quick, but they were definitely giving him a lot of opportunities to gain a lot of confidence. This was really good for Sean because he was now getting the attention that he desired, and he was facing the fears of confrontation that he was always very worried about. Sean was a very insecure and scared young boy, so this was a great opportunity to burst out of that bubble. Sean always wanted to be an athlete or an entertainer, so finding a way to be a mix of the both was just perfect for him. He was very much inspired by Conor McGregor, just like most young men at that time in history. He did start fighting before Conor got famous, but Conor was a massive motivation to him, and he even says it.
It's hard to say who's the GOAT. Like, who's the best? It's hard to say. When it comes to who's the GOAT, who really blew up the sport, who took it to the next level, who was the most entertaining, who captivated the most people, Conor is the GOAT.
Yeah. I would have a hard time arguing against
And not
that.
even anyone really that close.
No.
I'm coming for it. I'm trying. I think Patty's doing a good job at it. You know, and I still got years to do it, and Conor's probably getting closer to being done than anything. And so it's fun. It's a fun little game to play.
Just like Conor, Sean came into the gym with basically nothing to lose. Or maybe I should actually say everything to lose, because he was putting it all on the line. He is and he was beyond dedicated, so one day when he first got to train with Tim Welch, Tim actually offered him a life-changing opportunity. That offer was basically just to come live on his couch and train together. Fair to say, I think most people are not going to take this opportunity. People are going to make up a million reasons why they don't want to do this, and they're just going to have a million excuses why not in their head. But this opportunity actually changed his life. This was not easy at first though. Sean definitely was not able to just pick up and move to Arizona and just do all that super easily. And especially when he got down there and seen that the competition was not the same as what he was used to, it was not easy. Sean even says most days he would leave training crying.
For 10 days, every time I left practice, I was crying.
Did you think you were gonna get your ass kicked like that? Or did you think
I did not think, I didn't think so.
Okay.
He was losing a lot of hope, and he was definitely seeing that it wasn't as easy as he was expecting. Overall, he was not ready for all of this punishment. Luckily, Tim was able to guide him and show him his gift. Tim is a major piece of this puzzle of success, and some may write him off and say he's some dumb circus guy, but Tim has been able to open Sean's mind in extremely positive ways. Tim would teach Sean to do his own laundry. He taught him loads of knowledge in jiu-jitsu and MMA, of course, but he would also show Sean cannabis. Sean getting into weed was something that was actually very, very, very beneficial for his overall career, and something that actually opened his mind to a lot of creative things, but one of them is the art of war. Not used by many, but very, very effective. One of these arts that you could use is self-deprecation. A lot of people will not go in this way because this is definitely very much hard to deal with and very uncomfortable for the person that is actually doing it. But as I said, it's effective. And the way that I see Sean using this is by playing into that role of the stoner who isn't very aware and is almost unorganized. This right here will let down the guard of a lot of his opponents, and as we've seen in his last fight against Aljo, it's the perfect example. Aljamain Sterling actually said going into this fight that Sean is just some dumb stoner, and that Aljamain even smokes himself, but he doesn't let it affect him like Sean does.
The Flash, his hair is colorful and he smokes weed. Dude, I smoke weed. Like, what the hell are we talking about? Like,
this right here not only lets the guard down of the opponent and lets you capitalize, but it also is something that opens you up to a wider fan base that some people might not necessarily be aiming for, but is very much useful. Cannabis is definitely something that has a huge market at the moment. We see Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz got pretty famous just off of their use of cannabis. So this was definitely something that was very effective for Sean. Cannabis can also be very useful for recovery and training in general though. This is a magical plant that gives relief to pain that some people would find unbearable. It also makes you extremely creative. And as you see with Sean's style, he is very much creative. And honestly, it is definitely something that is used by many athletes and fighters. As we see, Bobby Green says that he smokes a lot of blunts each day.
Bobby Green smokes the most weed in the UFC.
Hey, no cap. No cap. Any nigga want to play with me, I guarantee you I smoke him under the table.
Right, because Sean O'Malley thinks he smokes.
I smoke him under the table.
So that's no cap.
See, Sean and them, they hit little bongs and little pipes. No. Me, Nate, we smoke big boy blunts. Not no little Dutches or little swishers. We smoke backwoods. That means you got to put like an eighth in a blunt. I probably smoke 15 a day. You do the math.
All right.
So when we see Sean making these goofy, funny videos on Instagram and playing into that lazy stoner character, it is definitely something that dulls people's expectations on what he's going to bring them, and maybe even overlook him. When you can demobilize your opponent without even touching them, without even having to do anything at all besides just appear as something that isn't a threat, then you are definitely going to have an easier shot at capitalizing on that opportunity. And as you see with Sean's style, he's a counter striker. So if you play into his game, you're going to sleep. Of course, we can't just put this all on that strategic move of him baiting people in. He's also very much athletic, and he also has that dog in him where he's not going to fold if you hit him. But that leads me to say, how did he come from crying after practice each day to being this type of soldier? It's simple but not simple. Work. Tim would dedicate his whole career to Sean's, and they got to work. Sean would even find his way into the Contender Series early on, and he would even fight in front of Snoop Dogg. It was a very memorable moment, and this was definitely memorable because after the fight, him and Snoop Dogg were smoking. Going back and looking at this fight too, we see that Sean O'Malley had a almost easy time against this opponent. He was almost playing with his food. But it is interesting because he even says that going into this fight, he had a concussion during his training. This would lead him to be waking up during the middle of the night, throwing up, and just not being able to actually have that rest and preparation that he would need in order to be able to put on the performance that he actually ended up putting on. So this was definitely something that was a very, very huge eye-opener to anyone that watched it, and now looking back on it and hearing that bit of information where he actually had the concussion, it is very honorable. It is something that a lot of people wouldn't have even stepped up to even try to have done. But that fight right there made him a star. Fighting in front of Snoop was something that not only gave him an opportunity to a wider audience, but also gave him a boost of confidence that you probably couldn't have got anywhere else. Sugar has always been special, but when him and his girl had a child, he was very much humbled and made aware of what was truly important. Sugar used to say that he used to do it for the ladies and the money, but this definitely was going to change that for sure. Now he had to do it for his family. He always has taken the Floyd Mayweather approach to fighting and played the long game, which is definitely very wise, and it is allowing him to not only gain a big amount of confidence and experience in there, but it is also something that you can be looking at as a honorable move because he's not letting his ego get in the way of himself. And what I mean by that is he's racking up all of this money and doing it the smart way. This would not happen for most fighters. Most fighters would be in a huge rush to the bottom, and as you see, he is not. He has been able to rack up some dope achievements on this journey. He has of course got the world title. He also has the most significant strikes in the bantamweight division. He's tied for the most KOs in the bantamweight division's history. He has submitted Takanori Gomi and many more things that people would have doubted him to ever have reached when he first started his career. Looking back at him, you would have never have ever predicted that he would have been such a threat to people like Peter Yan, to people like Aljamain Sterling, and to have made such an impact that he has had. Of course, he was very flashy from the beginning, and he has made a very great impression from the jump, but to see someone that didn't appear to be a fighter and didn't appear to even be in the right shape to be a fighter, this was something that was very much a motivation to a lot of people. So Sean O'Malley is definitely a role model for a lot of people, and even grown men. Sugar has used mushrooms, cannabis, and overall he has been able to use his self-reflection in a way to expand his comfortability with what he is going to try in the ring, or the octagon I should say. But this has been able to make him flashy and able to show off in ways that a lot of people would never feel comfortable trying to do. So this is definitely a very interesting character. He is very unconventional, and he is someone that is amazing to watch. I am always motivated to watch him and blessed to have the chance to actually have done this video, so I'll leave you with this. If you set your mind to something and put the time into that goal, then you will be able to achieve it. The only person that's going to be stopping you is you. So if you doubt yourself, then you might as well not even try in the first place. But if you can overcome that doubt, then you can achieve anything. So just give it a try. There's only opportunity to learn when you lose. So as you've seen, you have to cry a little bit to be able to actually see the bright stars like Sean has. So I appreciate you.